Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. And Jay, I got an interesting topic for us here today, and it's courtesy of Leonard Ellerbe. Now, Leonard was on Twitter here recently talking about Gervonta Davis, and I think the comment that he made, Jay, honestly underscores and highlights exactly why the Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney fight will not be made any time soon, and I wanted you and I to get together to discuss this. Now, Leonard made the comment, and he was actually responding to someone called Peril Living. This was about 22 hours ago. Peril Living says, I answered your question. You just don't like my answer because it's facts. That how y'all be, though. All of them together can't outsell Tank. That's why he ain't never taken a pay cut. He's getting 8 figures versus any of them. And Leonard responded with, boss, you spot on. He been making 8 figures for quite a while now. In his 2 fights last year, he made more than the entire division combined in their entire career. Now, Jay, when you think about Gervonta Davis and the fact that we all know that Gervonta Davis is the A side, and we all know that Gervonta Davis, he's arguably the face of boxing. I have it as Canelo Alvarez at the moment, but if Gervonta Davis isn't in your top 2, you're just hating. And it is what it is. Nice. Now, when you think about what Bill Haney and Devin Haney have been doing here as of late, I'm on record saying that I like what Bill Haney is doing. I think he is doing the correct thing in terms of the way that he is promoting Devin Haney, the way he's keeping Devin Haney's name relevant. Devin is, his fight is he fought on December 9th, so that's got to be about 6 weeks ago. And people are still talking about Devin Haney. I have to attribute that mostly to Bill Haney. He's being smart in how he's marketing his fighter. And he's also he's basically taking a page out of Top Rank's book, basically tying his fighter to the most popular fighter, or one of the most popular fighters in the sport today, in and around that weight class, Gervonta Davis. I have absolutely no issue with that. That's the appropriate thing to do to keep your fighter's name hot. But what Bill has also done is position Devin Haney as an A side, right? He's positioned Devin Haney as the face of boxing. He's positioned Devin Haney as a fighter that is his era currently in the sport of boxing. And he's doing that to actually try to create leverage in negotiations anytime he goes to the table. That's my personal opinion. Maybe others see it differently. But because of that positioning, they can't go to the table trying to dictate anything as it relates to Gervonta Davis. It's not going to work. You can't dictate the weight. You can't dictate the glove size. You can't dictate anything to Gervonta Davis today because he's the A side. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, specifically Devin Haney fans, but that's the reality of the sport. It's always been that way. And when your favorite fighter is in that position, we be hearing the same thing. So right now, if Devin Haney was truly the A side in a Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis fight, you would hear a Devin Haney fan saying the exact same thing. What has Tank done? Tank can't position or dictate anything to Devin Haney. We would hear that. But I think because they position themselves as such that they can't be the B side and tried to use that as leverage, they're not going to get their way with Gervonta Davis. And because they know this today, that they're not going to get the split that they want, the terms that they want, the weight that they want, rehydration clauses, all that other stuff, whether Tank wants that or not, because I'm not saying Tank wants that, maybe he doesn't. But they're not going to get any of these things. And because of that, there is no way this fight is going to be made today. Now, I've said this in a previous video in regards to what Sean Porter had to say. Truth be told, right now, probably neither side wants to fight because from a Tank perspective, the fight's not even big enough. And from a Devin perspective, it's probably not big enough, and they're not going to get what they want out of this fight anyway. They need to continue to build their cachet in order to create more leverage in negotiation. So, Jay, I thought what Leonard said was very interesting and kind of segue into, some thoughts that I had. What are your thoughts on what Leonard Ellerbe had to say?
Yeah, I mean, Tank's been doing this before Devin. He's done it without Devin. Devin's never done anything like this, like Tank has done. So, I mean, everything's going to go how Tank wants to move. Tank and his team is how they move. They're the A side. They put asses in seats everywhere they go. no matter where it's at, whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's in Bmore, Vegas, no matter where they go, they putting asses in seats, they selling out. Devin's still working on that. To your point, I'm not mad at Bill for always using, Tank's name and the PBC team on there. He's building his brand. He's trying to leverage Tank's following, Tank's popularity for his own. I'm not mad at that, but you gotta be real with it. It's like you want to be there to be great, to go to Australia twice and fight Loma, sign all that, and fight Loma after the 2 fights with Kambosos. You want dare to be great right now, the biggest name in the sport, especially in and around your division. Do it again. Do it again with Tank. You're definitely going to get paid. You're going to get paid. We know this. How much you're going to get paid, that determines on what you bring to the table. You're a damn good fighter, but as far as like you're trying to make it seem like you're this on an equal level playing field as Tank, nah. And it hasn't made sense. You can't sit there and go in and think that you're going to get what Ryan got when you don't bring what Ryan brought. Yeah, Tank was a push, the main driver of that, but Ryan helped it out as well. But you're not on Ryan's level as far as the popularity aspect of what you bring to the table. So you're not going to get what Ryan got. Accolades wise, yeah, you're miles ahead of Ryan on that. You have more belts than Tank, but Tank wasn't about that. Tank's about making the best fights available and knocking people out. He's been doing that. He's been trying to get these fights. He wants to get you as well, and a couple other fighters he's mentioned before. I truly believe that's going to happen soon. Probably later than sooner, just because of things Tank has to get himself together as far as his training regimen and all that, and things like that nature there, and his whole team. But you can't offer Tank anything. You're not in a position to offer Tank anything. What you offer in Tank's been making. So it's stupid for you to think like you're going to put Tank in back Tank into a corner. You can't. You don't got the leverage. Tank does. That's easy. So if you really want this fight with Tank, yeah, I'm not saying you gotta give everything, but you gotta come in like, hey, okay, what y'all thoughts on this? Go run that route. Don't sit there and try to say that you're gonna dictate something to him, because you're not. No one's gonna take anything to Tank and his team, because they are the undisputed A side on that. No matter who they fight, just like Canelo. Whenever Canelo fights, they go on his terms. So I mean. You've gone back and forth saying that you would fight at, he's a 135 pounder, which we know that's what Tank is. Tank fought one fight at 140. All his other fights, even when he fought at 140, he wasn't at the 140 pound weight class. What he weighed in on the fight night. Tank is a small dude fight at 135. You're a big dude also. So you can't tell him what you're going to fight at, neither. So bottom line is, Tank controls the chess pieces on the board right there. You just have to play the game based on those rules.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I think Devin brings a lot to the table in terms of his accolades. I think there's a level of popularity associated with Devin Haney as well. So I don't want to be wholly dismissive of who Devin Haney is and what he brings to the table. He brings a lot to the table. However, I don't believe he brings to the table what he would actually want from a percentage split perspective, and therefore this fight is not going to get made. I don't see this fight actually being made at the moment. And I just think what Leonard said highlights that. Tank is not going to take a pay cut. He's not going to give up a certain percentage for you to get, your opportunity. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I think when they say pay cut, it's talking about split. But when you think about just Gervonta Davis overall, he's probably been making a minimum of a certain dollar amount that he's probably going to want to stick around. And I'm sure he's going to be able to stick around that number because, quite frankly, he puts a lot of cheeks in seats and he drives the man. So you guys tell us what you think in the comments section in regards to what Leonard Ellerbe said. Do you believe that what Leonard had to say kind of highlights and underscores exactly the reason why this fight will not be made today? I think the fight probably needs to be a little bit bigger, not only for Gervonta Davis to be satisfied with the overall purse, but also for Devin Haney to be satisfied with that purse as well. And that's perfectly okay. That's the way that the sport works. And it is what it is. I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but it is what it is. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.